Top of the morning to you. It's the Hood Trucker News with your host, the Hood Trucker. Okay, let me get adjusted here a little bit. Let's go this way. Okay. As the showrunner says, Trump then got kicked off the Colorado ballot. Okay, now that's significant because a couple of reasons. Number one, I agree with the decision because, I mean, if you fighting cases, you shouldn't be running for president, number one. Number two, the fact that once the news came out, a lot of the narrative was that this is going to make Trump stronger, which is ridiculous because, I mean, it's ridiculous in the sense that, I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's also ridiculous in the sense that you have people in the world that believe anything as long as it fit the narrative. So you can make up anything as long as you're not perceived as either being wrong or being goofy for believing that in the first place. So along the same lines is this. I watched this show called Mother God. I believe it was on Max, I think. It's one. I think it's HBO or something like that. Anyway, she was she had got high on acid or something like that one day at a party or something, and from that point on, just lost it and went on to call herself Mother God and had a big following because she was all over the internet at the time. I believe, I don't think YouTube, I think it was before YouTube, but she was online all the time and just consistently made statements that eventually led people to believe that she was actually Mother God. So I believe the same thing is happening here. In the same way that Jim Jones, the Kool-Aid guy, drink the Kool-Aid, he had a bunch of people think that he was similar to a godlike figure. I don't know exactly the particulars, but if you are leading people and they voluntarily drink some concoction that they know is going to end their life, and they do it anyway because of whatever reason they believe, I would say that that's a cult. And I would also say that this Trump movement, whether you want to call it MAGA or whatever you want to call it, it's ridiculous because you didn't do anything to stop January 6th. Got every excuse under the sun when people ask you, why you didn't stop it, or it was Nancy Pelosi's fault, she was supposed to call the people and all of that, the military, whatever. I mean, you're the president. I mean, why you delegating military service, whatever it is, to Nancy Pelosi? You don't even like her. So why would you delegate anything to her? So, I mean, but if you tell a lie enough, people will believe it. And people are gullible. And sometimes people believe things just because they like you. I don't know why you would like a Donald Trump, but okay. I mean, you're it's a free country. You can do whatever you want. I just think you're goofy to follow something like that. Now, I hear that he's quoting similar verbiage that the guy from Germany, you know who I'm talking about, that guy from Germany, the old guy with the mustache, that guy, he's repeating some of his old verbiage out of his speeches. So he's he understands what he's doing. And those of us who have had cases before understand even more what he's doing. Now, from the standpoint of, yeah, you want a bunch of people following you because you're running for president. And a lot of times, in order to garner support, you say certain things to certain people who will either believe what you're saying or get behind what you're saying, or, call it pandering. So a lot of politicians pander, and for good reason. I mean, you can pander your way to the White House. I mean, I get it. It's just that first of all, if you're saying something you don't really believe, then that ain't right. Especially ain't right if you're doing it for a career move, right? So if you pander to people and you're trying to do it because you want to get elected in office, you don't really believe that, but you do it anyway, or you're taking money. Like they said that Ron DeSantis passed that medical marijuana bill because he was, the marijuana people were donating to this campaign. It happens. That's a legal form of bribery, in my opinion, the whole political process. So, but here's the thing. Here's how you know that things are one-sided or not, right? Do you think that the Republicans would be just as upset about either this ruling or the indictments that Donald Trump has if it was Barack Obama? If the answer is no, then something's wrong. Okay, so he said, Trump said a while back that he could, off somebody, we're going to say, in Times Square, and he would get away with it. He wouldn't lose any support. He knows that. He knows that whatever comes out of his mouth, people are going to pick it up and run with it just because it's him. It doesn't matter if what he says is based in any type of logic or any type of truth, because people will believe it and people will run with it whether or not they believe it or not. Why? Because a lot of times it's conformity. I've talked about it before on this channel. They did the Ash Project. It's spelled ASHE, I believe, where they get a bunch of people in a room. I think it's 6 people in a room, or the one I saw was 6 people in a room. 5 of them are actors, 1 real person. And not like maybe on the first or the second or the third time, but eventually when the one person felt like they were like stick out like a sore thumb because they were the only one saying something different than the other 5, they eventually got in line so they wouldn't feel whatever they felt being the sore thumb. And that happens a lot. So if you have a neighborhood, we used to call it, I don't know if they still call it that, but it's peer pressure. If you're in a Trump neighborhood and you're the only one that doesn't support Trump, you're probably not going to want to let that get out, because you're going to be berated by people who do believe in Trump or what Trump stands for. And it's uncomfortable. So that you won't have to deal with the uncomfortability that goes along with being different than everyone else, you get in line. Now you're a Trump supporter. So a lot of what's happening with that support is that, because if you interview a lot of those Trump supporters, they can't answer questions in a logical manner. Like, Joe Biden is really not the president. It's really Barack Obama, and Trump is really running the show. He's really the president. He's really running the country, but it's only the good stuff, not the bad stuff. Absolutely ridiculous in the logic, right? You can say it and you can make it sound believable, but if it's not based on any proof, any substantive proof, It's absent of logic. It's absent of anything believable. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you believe that Joe Biden is not running the country if there's no evidence to show that? It's military, it's this, it's that. You know how many predictions that uh, these evangelical people have made about Trump that hasn't come true, and for some reason, it's your fault for not believing, not the fact that they were wrong, but it's your fault for not believing hard enough or whatever they do. That's part of the scapegoat. When you get any of these religious type predictions that don't come true, or it's somehow your fault that it hasn't come true. You didn't believe hard enough, whatever the case. That's what you have to do when you're absolutely wrong and you don't want to admit being wrong. Another thing is that I don't understand how people can send money to a so-called billionaire even after he came down that golden escalator, saying that he doesn't need your money. He's not in the pocket of the politicians yet. As soon as something comes out, for instance, this Colorado thing, as soon as it came out, whew, emails going out to beg for money. What happened? Nobody's pointing that out. This dude came down the golden escalator saying he don't need nobody money. Now every chance he gets, he asking for money. No, like, how can you support that? He didn't already contradicted. He said he's going to have Mexico pay for the wall. Where's the evidence of that? Oh, it's through taxes. It's through this. That ain't what you said. You said they're going to cut a check. They're going to pay for that. You can't say that stuff that they were going to do anyway in the form of a tax or whatever he said, how they paid for it, with some kind of deal or whatever, that was going to happen anyway. That's like me saying, if we're roommates or whatever, well, I don't have to pay because you're paying the rent anyway. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. I don't have to pay because you're paying the rent anyway. That's ridiculous. That's along the same logic. That's saying, oh, I'm gonna tack on this reason why I'm getting this money, even though I was gonna get the money anyway through taxes or whatever. Come on, man. I mean, look, and people believed it just because he said it, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's how you get a mother God, and that's how you get. I don't know if you watched the show, but go watch the show, Mother God. They had people believing that what is it, colloidal silver or whatever it is, that if you drink that, it's going to cure all our stuff. Well, maybe if Mother God didn't smoke weed every single day and drink every single day, that her organs wouldn't have failed, and that's why she died. No. According to them, she was ascending and all. I mean, just made up stuff. Just made up. Because when her organs failed, she laid in the bed like normal. They was having some kind of electrode to her to see if electricity was coming off her. Oh, her body's still warm and all this. Just wholeheartedly believe some lunatic who was on drugs went to Hawaii, and I'm telling the whole thing, went to Hawaii and said that she was some kind of god over there. They bust all her windows out and said, man, get up out of here with that nonsense. We have the no cussing sign, so get up out of here with that nonsense. They ran her out of Hawaii over there playing. Listen, don't believe everything you see. And believe half of what you hear, or what is it? Other way. Don't believe what you hear and half of what you see. They got AI, all kinds of stuff going on right now, right? So don't believe what you hear and half of what you see. So look, if you think that the same support for Donald Trump would happen for Barack Obama, you're a lunatic. And you're not being honest, because that would never happen. If Barack Obama had caught 4 indictments the Republicans would be breaking their necks to get on TV to say, get him out of here. Of course they would. So you're a hypocrite if you won't do that, for anyone. Because it doesn't matter what party you are. It doesn't matter. I mean, look, they're trying to do a impeachment inquiry on Joe Biden, and the stuff that Hunter Biden did has nothing to do with Joe Biden. Look at all. I mean, no one's talking about how Trump made money with his hotels while he was a president. You're not supposed to do that. Nobody's saying anything. I mean, so Trump can basically get away with anything. That's why he said he could pull a trigger on somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it, because he know he can do whatever he wants. Because he know he can say whatever and y'all gonna believe it. It's crazy. Now he's quoting the German dude with the mustache quotes. He's following the playbook. You don't think he know? Listen. Those of us who call cases, I mentioned it before, but I didn't really elaborate, so I'm gonna do it now. Those of us who call cases before, if there's any way you can get out of that case, you're gonna try. So everybody knows that if Trump is elected president, those cases go away. That's why he's running. That's why he was the first one to run. You don't start running for president that early. That's why he was at the day or the day after you're eligible to apply to run for the presidency. He was there. Guess why? So he can do what he's been doing. This is election interference. This is unfair. This is attack on our country. That's the playbook he was going to read. He knew what he was going to do before he was even able to do it. He already knew that. That's the play. The play is, this is bad for the country. Please stop these people from doing this to me. Elect me so I don't have to go to jail. That's the play. And guess what? Trump supporters are buying it hook, line, and sinker to the point where Trump is leading Joe Biden in a lot of things. Now, listen, I'm no Joe Biden fan, but I'm not a Trump fan either, and probably more so. I mean, if I had to eat a boo-boo sandwich or a boo-boo sandwich with cheese, I would prefer the boo-boo sandwich with cheese. I mean, because that's what the choice is. I don't like either one of them. If I had a choice off the top of my head, it would probably be the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. He's not perfect either. He's done some crazy stuff, but I think he's more he's more he knows the issues better, in my opinion. Now, listen, is he perfect? No, but I think that he would be better than a Joe Biden and better than a Donald Trump. Right now, absolutely not perfect, but I mean, if you can go in there and get on Sean Hannity's show, who does this for a living, and basically, I don't want to say embarrassed, but go toe to toe with Sean Hannity. Now he went toe to toe with Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis tell lies. I guess they fact checked Gavin Newsom. He told a couple of lies. Listen, there's a lot of things you can do in Florida that you can't do in California, and there's a lot of things that they do in Florida that you probably shouldn't be proud of, that they would never do in California, like shipping people all over the country and using migrants as pawns and all that kind of stuff. That's crazy. Playing people's lives all for political gain. That's crazy to me. And you should be ashamed of yourself. And, the universe, whatever they got for you, you absolutely deserve it. So, listen, Trump is kicked off the ballot. Hopefully, what happens here from here on out, because apparently there was a few other states that rejected it, and a lot of times states don't want to do that. States don't want to be the guinea pig. That's why, like, when you look at New York, the black dude in New York that filed the first criminal case, it was a really light case. You haven't even really heard nothing about it since or after. These bigger cases and these more prominent district attorneys, like the special counsel Jack Smith, and then the one in Georgia. You haven't really heard about. I don't even remember the dude's name. The dude in New York. He sat on that. He actually rejected it, and wasn't going to file until there was, some more political pressure. But it's crazy that, the judges and the prosecutors are scared to prosecute or to rule, truthfully, because look, he absolutely was involved in that January 6th stuff. He absolutely purposely didn't stop what he could have stopped. He could have called the National Guard in. He could have, because there was stuff going all over the internet about that. He could have stopped a lot of that stuff, but he didn't. People got killed, and they're saying that it was, it's basically a regular tour. Come on, man. You know why they saying that? Because people will believe it. The dumb people, stupid people will believe that stuff just because it's Donald Trump. They'll believe it. And that's the same trap that happened, Mother God, those people sending her a bunch of money on a falsity, because she ended up dying because she was drinking and doing drugs and all kinds of stuff, and her organs failed. It wasn't because she was ascending nowhere. What did they say? They said that she was taking on all the sins of the world, and that's why she had to go, and that's why her face turned blue and all of that. That was from that silver stuff that didn't do anything because her organs failed. Same thing with the Jim Jones thing. None of that stuff is true. Same thing with Heaven's Gate. None of that stuff is true. They ain't going nowhere. Where'd they go? Nowhere. They was right there. What else? Jim Jones. They do that because they have a figure who's charismatic. Jim Jones, the Mother God, and all these other people. Donald Trump, the dude from Germany with the mustache. Get you roped in, sell you a bill of goods, and then when it's all over with, it's your fault because it's something you did. It ain't my fault. It's your fault because it's something you did. Crazy. And people, continue to believe it because they don't want to stick out like a sore thumb because peer pressure. As a teen, it's called peer pressure. As you get an adult, I guess it's called conformity. Same exact thing. You want to be in with the in crowd. You don't want to nobody to know because everybody in your town is a Trump supporter. You don't want nobody to know that you think he's a weirdo and an idiot and a criminal and all of that. You don't want nobody to know that. And that's why you do it. And that's why he has the support. Because there's so much negative stuff about Joe Biden. Listen, again, a boo-boo sandwich and a boo-boo sandwich with cheese. That's the choice. There's no good choices right now. Nobody from the Republican Party. Maybe Chris Christie. Maybe a Chris Christie. I would, if Chris Christie gets on the ballot, I probably would vote for Chris Christie. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent, but I don't like Joe Biden. I dislike Donald Trump even more than I dislike Joe Biden. And although I'm not a big fan of Chris Christie, at least he's telling some truths that people don't like, and he stays the course. Gavin Newsom's the other one. I'm not a big fan of his either. I'm from California. They do a whole bunch of crazy nonsense, taxes, all this stuff in California. But I'd vote for him or Chris Christie before I voted for any of the Joe Biden or Donald Trump. So I'm just gonna say that right there. So I hope more states get on board and kick Donald Trump off, because I absolutely do not want him, because he's running so he don't have to face these cases. Look, I mean, he announced that he was going to run as soon as he could. He was the first one. I don't know if it was the day he was eligible, but it was somewhere close, and he absolutely was the first Republican to announce. Come on, man. You don't see that? You don't see that like a freight train because he got them cases, and that's why he did it. If you don't see that like a freight train, something wrong with you. So support the channel, please. Join the member section. We got some members stuff going on. You know, we update almost daily in there. So support. Look at the ticker on the bottom. That's how you can support. Also the super chat, the member section, the Cash App, all of that. We'd appreciate it. We'll bring you the news, bring you the commentary that you want to hear. Because listen, if you listen to them Trump stations and there's some Trump supporters, they're gonna sell you a bill of goods. Because listen, if for nothing else, that man shouldn't be taking no donations because you're a billionaire, and you shouldn't be sending it to him because you're not a billionaire. So it is what it is. So thank you. I appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you watching the replay, and appreciate your support. Thanks. Till next time. Take care.